Welcome back to Cycle 360. We're excited to bring you our 5th podcast. This Cycle 360 edition has 3 sections. First, Dr. Helen Olson will be talking about AACC award opportunities for Cycle members. Take advantage of the multiple award opportunities through AACC, some of which may assist you in attending the AACC annual meetings. The second podcast is a clinical case about an unexpected hemoglobin A1C result from the journal Clinical Chemistry. This case is presented by the first author of the study, Dr. Alina Sofrunescu. Alina is a clinical chemistry fellow and cycle member from the Medical University of South Carolina. The third and final section is by Drs. Nicole Corpy-Steiner and Mohammed Al-Ghul. Nicole will be discussing the AACC's Critical and Point-of-Care Specialized Scientific Division. This series continues to focus on one division in each Cycle 360 podcast in order to introduce cycle members to what these divisions are and how they can benefit you as a cycle member. We hope you enjoy this podcast. Please remember that Cycle 360 can now be found on iTunes and YouTube. Also, feel free to email the Cycle Committee or Cycle 360 Subcommittee to let us know if you have any suggestions for content in future podcasts. Thank you again.
In this section of the podcast, I will be highlighting awards that are of particular interest to cycle members. These awards are from a variety of sources related to the association, and most are specifically targeted to providing funding or recognition for those who are in their early career. Within the AACC, there are many organizations or sections that offer awards. More information about any of the awards highlighted in this presentation can be found within the About AACC and Members sections of the AACC website, or the URLs found at the bottom of each slide can be typed into your web browser for direct access. A vital source of funding and career support for every member of AACC is the Slyke Foundation, our philanthropic program. The foundation is supported solely by kind donations from individuals and corporations, with the funds then being passed on in support of clinical laboratorians and hopeful future members of the association. The positive effects of the VSF on the members of the association can be seen far and wide. David Grenache, Cycle's VSF board liaison, encourages Cycle members to build a legacy of giving back to the foundation that supports us throughout our career. Every contribution adds to the funds that support continued growth of our organization, and every donation, no matter the size, is appreciated by the benefactors of VSF's many awards. For more information, visit the VSF page under the About AACC tab of the AACC webpage. The VSF funds many awards for a variety of AACC members, in addition to recognizing up-and-coming talent of gifted high school students at an international science fair. The awards in red are of particular interest to cycle members and will be discussed in the next slides. The VSF General Research Grant is a great opportunity for a startup study or a short project that you would like to get published. This annual award is based on the impact funding can have on the project's success and the applicant themselves. The application requires just a one-page description of the project and a detailed budget justification. This is a great award for fellows as well as early career investigators. Our Slyke Foundation also sponsors a triad of programs targeted towards undergraduate and graduate level students and postdoctoral fellows. The first is a student poster competition. All participants in the Student Awards program present a short summary of their poster to 3 judges, and those with the top 3 combined scores win cash prizes and recognition at the annual meeting cycle reception. The top 4 abstracts submitted for the VSF Student Awards program are chosen for oral presentation at a special session of the annual meeting. These 4 participants are judged on the quality of their presentation and the scientific quality of their project. All 4 are awarded cash prizes and are recognized at the cycle reception. The last component of the VSF Student Awards program is the domestic travel grants. These grants help with travel expenses for students and fellows to make annual meeting attendance more affordable. Submitted abstracts are judged based on the scientific quality and originality, plus the quality of writing. The awards provide compensation for meeting registration, 1 brown bag session, and an additional $250 towards airfare and other travel expenses. To apply for the VSF Poster and Oral Awards and Student Travel Grants, an applicant must be the lead author of an abstract. The appropriate box for the Student Awards program should be checked during the annual meeting abstract submission process. Additionally, a letter of request to participate in the competitions that provides confirmation of student status from an advisor is required. Make sure to look for full details on the application process in the VSF Awards and Grants section of the AACC webpage. The association gives out multiple awards each year, including an award for outstanding contributions by a young investigator. Any AACC member or group of members, such as a local section, division, or committee, may submit nominations for an award. The nominee must have been the principal investigator or author of the research, rather than one of many collaborators. As the name of the award implies, the Young Investigator Award recognizes and encourages the professional development of a young investigator who has demonstrated exceptional scientific achievements early in his or her career. A newly established association award is intended to help non-doctoral members attend an AACC meeting. The Helen Free Award grants the recipient $2,000 to attend one meeting during the award year and is awarded based on need and the impact of attendance on the applicant's career. This is a great award for young medical technologists or students. The NACB is AACC's Academy. One of two NACB awards of interest for cycle members is the George Granis Award for Excellence in Research and Scientific Publication by a Young Investigator. Current or recent students and fellows can be nominated by their mentors through a letter outlining their accomplishments and publication list. The award winner receives a plaque, honorarium, and a guest lectureship opportunity at a meeting of the co-sponsors, the Ohio Valley Local Section. The NACB Distinguished Abstract Awards Program recognizes the best of all submitted annual meeting abstracts. Last year, 30 abstracts were chosen from 742 abstracts submitted for presentation at the daily meeting poster sessions. All submitted abstracts are automatically considered for NACB Abstract Awards, and winners receive a blue ribbon to display with their poster during presentation at their assigned session. CYCL itself offers awards through kind sponsorships by the VSF and others. The CYCL Service Award recognizes a CYCL member who has dedicated time to the AACC through voluntary service. Each year's award winner is recognized at the CYCL annual meeting reception and is presented an honorary plaque. CYCL domestic travel grants are made possible through the kind donations of the VSF, several AACC local sections, and industry. These need-based grants provide $2,000 to offset expenses required to attend the annual meeting. Applicants must be CYCL members, and those who are actively participating in the meeting through oral and poster presentations are given preference. Full details of the application process, which requires letters from the applicant and a colleague or mentor, can be found on CYCL's webpage. Additional awards for younger members are given by AACC's local sections and divisions, some of which are listed here. To apply, you must indicate your interest in having your abstract considered for each ward by checking the appropriate boxes during abstract submission. Good luck to all who apply.
Unexpected hemoglobin A1C results. This case was published in the February 2011 issue of Clinical Chemistry and presents some of the challenges related to the hemoglobin A1C testing in patients with hemoglobinopathies. A 52-year-old woman with a medical history of hepatitis B, hyperlipemia, hypertension, and anemia presents to the internal medicine clinic for a visit. Laboratory tests 3 months previously revealed an impaired fasting glucose concentration of 5.9 millimole per liter or 106 milligram per deciliter for a reference interval of 3.9 to 5.6 millimole per liter or 70 to 100 milligrams per deciliter. Therefore, hemoglobin A1C analysis was recommended. Hemoglobin A1C was evaluated by cation exchange HPLC. This method revealed a hemoglobin A1C value of 115.8% for a reference interval of 4 to 5.7%. However, when hemoglobin A1C was evaluated using immunoassay, the level was determined as 4.1%. This discrepancy, as well as a biological impossible level of hemoglobin A1C, as revealed by HPLC, pointed out a clear case of method interference. In the effort to determine if the unusual hemoglobin A1C result was due to the potential hemoglobinopathies, hemoglobin variant analysis was performed using the Bio-Rad variant cation exchange HPLC beta thalassemia program. The analysis revealed the absence of normal hemoglobin A and the presence of sickle cell hemoglobin or hemoglobin S at a level of 37.4%, along with normal hemoglobin A2 and hemoglobin F below 1%. In addition to this, another large peak representing about 53% of the total hemoglobin was also eluded a little earlier than hemoglobin A. On the chromatogram, this was called P2 peak. A subsequent hemoglobin electrophoretic analysis at pH 6 confirmed the presence of hemoglobin S and another abnormal band with a mobility similar to hemoglobin F, but it could not identify the hemoglobin variant corresponding to peak P2. Hemoglobin A1C is produced by a non-enzymatic addition of a glucose molecule to the amino terminal valine residue on the beta chain molecule in a set of reactions as presented here. Glycation of this residue changed the structure and decreased the positive charge of hemoglobin A. The American Diabetes Association has recommended hemoglobin A1C as an indicator for long-term glycemic control in patients with diabetes, with an hemoglobin A1C cutoff value of 6.5% for diabetic and 5.7 to 6.4% for increased risk of diabetes. In non-diabetic patients, the normal level of hemoglobin A1C should be below 5.7%. Hemoglobin A1C is tested in clinical laboratories using different methodologies. However, these methods are either based on the molecular charge of hemoglobin A1C or on the overall structure of hemoglobin A1C. The former category of methods includes cation exchange HPLC and gel electrophoresis, while the other category includes immunoassay, boronate affinity chromatography, and mass spectrometry. In cation exchange HPLC, similar to electrophoresis, hemoglobin A1C can be separated from hemoglobin A because glycation of the amino terminal valine decreases its positive charge. However, this charge-based method is affected by post-translational modification of hemoglobin A, such as carbamylation or acetylation, as well as by hemoglobin mutations that alter the charge of the molecule. Currently, few hundreds of hemoglobin variants resulting from point mutation that lead to amino acid substitutions were described. The presence of different hemoglobinopathies may interfere with hemoglobin A1C testing and can lead to falsely increased or decreased levels. When evaluated with cation exchange HPLC, estimation of hemoglobin A1C depends upon separation of each hemoglobin variant and hemoglobin A1C. As neither HPLC hemoglobin variant analysis nor hemoglobin gel electrophoresis helped with the identification of hemoglobin variant present in patient's blood that is interfering with hemoglobin A1C testing, DNA sequencing of beta-globin gene was pursued. The DNA analysis demonstrating on one allele the substitution that leads to hemoglobin S. It also demonstrated the presence of hemoglobin Raleigh as a result of a substitution on the other allele of the beta-globin gene. Hemoglobin Raleigh is unique in that a mutation T2C at the second base of the codon encoding the first amino acid of the beta chain changes the amino terminal valine to an alanine residue. This substitution in itself would not induce any change in the hemoglobin A charge, but the new amino terminal alanine is immediately acetylated to acetylalanine soon after translation. This acetylation decreases the positive charge of the molecule to a level similar to that of hemoglobin A1c. Hemoglobin A1c testing in the presence of hemoglobin Raleigh presents few challenges. When tested with cation exchange HPLC, hemoglobin Raleigh interferes with hemoglobin A1c testing due to its chemistry. As hemoglobin Raleigh is acetylated, its charge is virtually the same as that of hemoglobin A1c. Therefore, the retention time of hemoglobin A1c and hemoglobin Raleigh are identical, and they are both eluted within the same window. Thus, hemoglobin Raleigh produces a falsely increased hemoglobin A1c. Due to the substitution of the amino terminal valine residue of the beta chain, hemoglobin Raleigh cannot be glycated. Therefore, it cannot be recognized by the antibody in the immunoassay. When hemoglobin A1c is assessed in the presence of hemoglobin Raleigh, its level is underestimated, as the calculation of hemoglobin A1c level assumes that all hemoglobins can be glycated. In the case of this patient, only amino terminal valine residue of the beta chain of hemoglobin S is glycated, and the result of immunoassay reflects in fact the level of hemoglobin S1c. When hemoglobin A1c is assessed using boronate affinity chromatography, the level is also underestimated, as the amino terminal acetylalanine in the hemoglobin Raleigh beta chain cannot be glycated, and therefore hemoglobin Raleigh has a decreased affinity for boronate column, although the column can still interact with other glycated residues. For patients with hemoglobin Raleigh, hemoglobin A1c testing with mass spectrometry would lead to correct results due to the fact that this AACC reference method is unaffected by the presence of any genetic or chemical modification of the hemoglobin A molecule. However, in the case of this patient, mass spectrometric evaluation of hemoglobin A1c would still be useless unless this method would be able to measure both hemoglobin S as well as hemoglobin S1c, as the patient does not have hemoglobin A at all. Hemoglobin A1c testing and interpretation of the results can be challenging in the presence of other hemoglobinopathies. Therefore, hemoglobin A1c results should be interpreted with caution and should take into account patient's medical history and other lab results. When a spurious hemoglobin A1c result is suspected, the possibility of hemoglobinopathies interference should be considered, and the hemoglobin variants should be identified. In this context, methods free of these interferences should be used to assess hemoglobin A1c level. When this is not possible, an alternate method for assessing average glycemia, such as fructosamine, multiple measurements of capillary glucose throughout the day, or continuous glucose monitoring should be used.
Hi, in this section of the Cycle 360 podcast, we will be focusing on the AACC scientific divisions. More specifically, today we are excited to provide you with exclusive highlights about the Critical and Point-of-Care Testing Division. The Critical and Point-of-Care Testing Division, or CPOCT, is one of the largest of AACC's 14 scientific divisions with more than 950 members. Moreover, this is one of the most highly active groups in AACC. How, you might ask? Well, this is likely accomplished through the numerous resources and activities offered by the division, which provide education and networking opportunities for sharing ideas, experiences, and strategies in critical and point-of-care testing. Whether you are an AACC member or non-member, a division member or cycle member, there are opportunities available to you in this division. In the upcoming presentation, we will hear insight from well-known AACC and critical and point-of-care testing division members, including Peggy Mann, Dr. James Nichols, Kimberly Scala, as well as Cindy Swank, regarding these resources and activities available. One of the most utilized AACC communication tools is the Critical and Point-of-Care Testing Division Listserv. This CPOCT Listserv is basically an email distribution list that you can subscribe to that permits the group of individuals to communicate with each other about topics related to critical and point-of-care testing. And today we are very fortunate to have Peggy Mann join us. She is an active member in AACC in this division and is the point-of-care coordinator at the University of Texas Medical Branch. Hi, Peggy.
Hi, Nicole.
Thanks for joining us, Peggy. I routinely read the CPOCT Division Listserv emails, and it is evident that you are an active participant in the email discussions. Would you please share your experiences with utilizing this resource and what benefits you think it may provide to cycle and AACC members?
I'd be happy to. Nicole, the beauty of the listserv for me is that one can read the posts as they come into one's email, or you can save the posts for later. You can file them for future reference, or you just delete if it's not applicable to what you're doing in your point-of-care program. The listserv is flexible enough to allow for receiving individual posts, or you can receive it as digests. It also allows for what is commonly referred to as lurking, so you can read the emails and you never have to post. Recently, I've actually been trying to clear out a lot of my paper files from my office, and I'm coming across listserv printouts that I read actually from the listserv 5, 6, 7 years ago. And a lot of these posters have remained on the listserv, which I think goes to show that the listserv has benefited from quite a few loyal contributors who've taken a lot of time to keep folks across the country up to date on what's going on. To highlight the content available through the listserv, I will mention what I've seen as the top 5 or 6 popular helpful topics that are brought up and are discussed via the posts. There are frequent questions, of course, related to regulatory concerns. Nationally, a lot of us will be concerned and talking about Joint Commission and CAP accreditations. There are some times that state regulations come up, and CLIA, of course, is mentioned frequently. A variety of point-of-care instruments and devices are discussed. This might include troubleshooting. It will include new instruments that hit the market. Folks will ask for benefits or not of specific devices and instruments. One of the other things that we discuss is point-of-care data management systems. There'll be questions about installs, implementations, as well as things related to quality assurance, which is another really big hot topic. Folks will ask about what we're doing for quality control and proficiency testing for certain tests. The Listserv participants are typically very generous about sharing files. We'll share policies, SOPs, tools that we use in our daily point-of-care management so that other people are not, as we call, reinventing the wheel. Finally, one of the other topics that comes up is concerning reagents. Folks will post questions about certain lot numbers or storage issues they're having, shipment issues that they're having. Our listserv is not strictly a Q&A listserv. It's, I think, much more personable than that. Over time, it's also been a networking tool for a lot of folks. It's a way of sort of getting involved in lives of people that you will never meet in person, but still people become meaningful to you because you see their name and they are sharing things via the listserv. We have several countdowns going on for retirements, as a matter of fact. And there's also a way to congratulate posters who, for example, pass inspections. You know, you get a lot of high fives virtually. We post holiday greetings, and in some cases with natural disasters, for example, you know, we'll know about that in the news, and folks will be concerned about other parts of the country that they normally wouldn't really take into their daily lives, but they see it on the listserv with people that they know. We also do sometimes Friday joke telling, and we'll share stupid questions that we get, and folks kind of laugh about that on Friday afternoons sometimes. Nicole, if a listener is interested in joining the Critical and Point-of-Care Testing Division listserv, it's really quick and easy to get on. You log on to the AACC website. You select Resource Centers tab, which will bring up the AACC listserv link on the left-hand sidebar. You click on the AACC listserv link, and a list of available listservs will appear. Then what you want to do is click on the desired listserv to subscribe.
Wow, Peggy, that was great. It's really great to hear your insight regarding the listserv and how helpful this resource can be to all of its readers and participants. Peggy, I understand that you have also been a key leader in the development and management of the Point-of-Care Coordinator to Point-of-Care Coordinator mentoring program. Would you please provide us a little background about this program and how it may help CYCL members or new and upcoming Point-of-Care coordinators?
Yes, I very much appreciate this time, Nicole, to highlight our Point-of-Care to Point-of-Care Coordinator to Coordinator mentoring program. Actually, both Cindy Swank and Kim Scala, who are going to be on this call later, are both mentors. They have been for several years, and I greatly appreciate both of them sticking it out. We're going into our 5th year. Our program partners new point-of-care coordinators with volunteer, experienced point-of-care coordinators in a one-to-one mentoring partnership. From feedback of mentees when I've done assessments of our program, the program has been very productive and very successful, according to the mentees. The idea of putting together a mentoring program actually came to me when I served on the executive board of this division as a member at large. Paul Drazio was the chair at the time, and he agreed that it was worth doing a pilot program. At the time, I found no other lab-related mentoring program available that we could use as a model. So pretty much I used the internet to look for material on what mentoring programs could be, put that together, and we volunteers gave it a whirl. And as I said, we're going into our 5th year. I'm really proud of this program. The mentoring program is actually self-governing. The information shared by participants is always considered confidential, and none of the partnerships share that information outside of their own partnerships. To form the partnerships, in a nutshell, as a point-of-care coordinator volunteer who wants to mentor, I ask them questions targeting their point-of-care program that they oversee. I'll ask such things as how many beds are in your hospital, how many coordinators do you have in your system, or are you the only one? How many point-of-care operators do you have? Do you oversee inpatient, ambulatory, OR, ER? What exactly is your program all about? What wave testing devices and connectivity are you using? And also I do inquire about non-waived testing because quite a few of us have to do both waived and non-waived. And I'll ask about the accreditations that they have to meet. Then when I get the mentee requests coming in, I'll look for a best match to those who I've got in the mentor pool who are still available to mentor. I especially try to find the mentor who can most meet what the mentee has shared with me as specific areas that they need help in. Even with trying to match particulars based on these two databases, sometimes we simply don't have someone in the mentor data pool who can meet those parameters of need. For instance, my hardest challenge, and I did not meet it, was finding a mentor who had experience with accreditation through AOA. We did the best that we could, but sometimes we can't do a perfect match. Nicole, this point-of-care coordinator to point-of-care coordinator mentoring program is mentioned on the AACC division page, webpage. My email address is there, and I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you so much.
Wow, Peggy, this sounds like a very helpful and fun program and really an invaluable resource for new individuals entering the point-of-care testing field, and I think it's a program that you should definitely be proud of, and thank you for sharing, Peggy.
You're welcome.
Another supportive resource offered by AACC is the online certificate programs. AACC currently offers 10 different online certificate programs, 2 of which are sponsored by the Critical and Point-of-Care Testing Division. The Point-of-Care Specialist Certificate Program was initiated in 2008 and presently has over 600 graduates, which is amazing. One of these successful graduates is Cindy Swank, the Point-of-Care Specialist at North Colorado Medical Center, and we are thrilled to have her on air today. Hi, Cindy. Welcome.
Hi, Nicole. Thanks for having me.
Cindy, would you please provide us a little background as to what this certificate program entails?
Sure. Let me say first that when I went through this program, I had been doing point of care for about 8 or 9 years. But even though I'd been doing it for a long time and felt fairly comfortable, point of care evolved so much that I was intrigued by the fact that AACC would put this type of program together. I found it to be a very comprehensive and detailed program that included everything that anyone needs to know to do this job, including things that we never thought we'd be involved in, like connectivity and IT. It also included sections on communication with nursing, quality management, validation, of course, focusing on the regulatory requirements that we all have to meet, and something that I'm involved with right now, which is instrument selection.
Well, that sounds like a very useful and educational program. And as a graduate of this program, can you please describe how this resource has helped you and how it may benefit CYCL members and others in the point-of-care testing field?
Well, this program has helped me to feel a lot more confident in my role, and it also just provides you with the tools to make recommendations to the nursing staff when new testing is requested, to communicate to the medical staff, and to act as a liaison between nursing and laboratory. There are so many layers to point of care, and we have a really unique opportunity to be involved in so many different projects because of the role that we have. This is not what I envisioned when I was a new laboratorian. Point of care wasn't even really on the radar at that point, but I really wouldn't want to be anywhere else. And this program and the Listserv, I have to say, have been my lifelines over the past several years.
I agree greatly with that, and we really appreciate your time and sharing your experiences and your insight about this program. Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
The second online certificate program sponsored by the Critical and Point-of-Care Testing Division is titled Improving Outcomes Through Point-of-Care Testing. This certificate program was recently developed and launched in October of 2011. Dr. James Nichols, the Director of Clinical Chemistry at Bay State Health and a key leader in critical and point-of-care testing, he chaired the committee responsible for the design and development of this program, and we are pleased to have the opportunity to speak with Dr. Nichols today. Hi, Jim. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Nicole. It's great to be here.
Jim, as you were integrally involved in the development of this certificate program, how would you describe this program and what benefits do you think it may provide to attendees like CYCL members, new and seasoned point-of-care coordinators, laboratory directors, manufacturers, and really anyone involved in point-of-care testing?
Sure. Every day we are approached by doctors, physicians, nurses who want faster point-of-care testing or faster laboratory testing to move their patients through the hospital more expedited. This certificate program really provides that link between the literature and improvements in patient outcomes. So the National Academy of Clinical Biochemistry's Laboratory Medicine Practice Guideline, Evidence-Based Practice for Point-of-Care Testing, is really profiled and highlighted in the certificate program. And in that LMPG, basically the group pulled together the literature that linked point-of-care testing to patient outcome and synthesized the literature and made recommendations on best practice use of point-of-care testing in hospital settings and outpatient use. So recent hot topics areas that are covered by the certificate program are really renal testing or point-of-care for creatinine, implementation outcomes for point-of-care in the emergency department. We have use of point-of-care for cardiac markers, CKMB, and troponin. Use of point-of-care in both the diagnosis and management of infectious disease, and improvements of the standard of care for disaster medicine. So use of point-of-care devices during disaster management situations, as well as point-of-care for diabetes management and glycemic control. Attendees will really gain a greater appreciation of the role that point-of-care can play in patient management and the literature that supports the use of rapid diagnostics. So if you're interested in registering for one of the AACC certificate programs, log on to the AACC website, select the Events tab, and you'll see online education and a number of online certificate programs. Just select the program that you desire to register.
Well, thank you very much, Jim. This also sounds like a very informative and useful online certificate program and resource for all individuals in point-of-care testing, and we greatly appreciate you taking your time to share your insight. Thank you. Additional highlights of this division are the Critical and Point-of-Care Testing Division events that are held at the AACC annual meetings, including the CPOCT Division Mixer and Awards presentation, as well as the CPOCT Forum. And today we are delighted to have Kimberly Scala joining us. She is the recipient of the 2011 Point-of-Care Coordinator of the Year Award, was an invited speaker at a previous CPOCT Forum, as well as she is the Point-of-Care Coordinator at Advocate Christ Medical Center and Hope Children's Hospital. Hi, Kim. Welcome to Cycle 360.
Thanks, Nicole. I'm excited for the opportunity.
Kim, as an active member in the CPOCT division, would you please provide a brief description of these events at the AACC meeting and how participation at these events may benefit individuals in the point-of-care testing field?
Sure, I'd be happy to. I think the AACC annual meeting is a wonderful one-stop shop for point-of-care education and information, and it covers a wide variety of topics. And whether you're able to attend one day or the entire meeting, participation is always valuable to the novice point-of-care coordinator, a SYCL member, or any point-of-care veteran. The CPOCT division has an annual membership meeting and a point-of-care mixer, which are always very inclusive and offer opportunities for networking, collaboration, and lots of fun. If you're an active on the Listserv, it's always great to match a name that you've seen on the Listserv with a face at the meeting. During the division's annual meeting and mixer, a variety of awards specifically related to point-of-care testing are given. These include one for Point-of-Care Coordinator of the Year, one for the Best Annual Meeting Abstract in recognition of outstanding research in critical and point-of-care testing, and, of course, the Slyke Foundation Research Grant Award, and that's given to study outcomes of point-of-care testing. The annual CPOCT Forum is generally a morning session where experts address timely topics related to point-of-care testing. The forum also provides another opportunity to network with your peers, see some friendly faces that you only see once a year at the annual meeting. And it's always a great place to find solutions to point-of-care issues and helping that way to improve patient outcomes for our hospital settings. This is an increasing focus for us all, as Dr. Nichols mentioned. Another helpful resource is the CPOCT division newsletter called Critical Points, and that's available to members. It can be accessed online or can be printed from a PDF file there. and it helps to keep members informed and up to date on events and topics of interest. One of the topics highlighted in the most recent critical points is the Division's 24th International Symposium, which will be held in Prague this year. And that will be held from October 4th through October 6th and is titled Promoting a Culture of Quality and Consistency in Critical and Point-of-Care Testing. The keynote speaker this year is Dr. Maurice O'Kane, and make sure to mark your calendars as the abstract submission deadline is May 1st for 2012, and more details can be found at the AACC.org website.
Thank you, Kim. That was a wonderful overview of the division meeting events and additional resources available. And I would like to again thank all of our speakers today, including Peggy Mann, Dr. James Nichols, Kimberly Scala, as well as Cindy Swank, for sharing their experiences, expertise, and insight into many of the critical and point-of-care testing resources and activities available. Thank you all again.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.